ho, ho, ho. And a Merry Christmas to you, too. My name is Joe.
And I'm Carolyn.
You guys are listening to the podcast that's going to save the world one podcast at a time, the Carolyn and Joe Show. My name is Joe Carabeo. I'm a filmmaker, photographer, a writer, definitely a musician. But today, on this very, very, very Christmassy episode, I am a podcaster. And across from me, in her own soundproof booth that's very decorated in the times of the Christmas day, the Christmas spirit, she has it all around her. The cartoonist of curls. Her name is Carolyn Belefski. How you doing, Carolyn?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
I'm doing snowy.
You're doing snowy. And just so you guys know, yeah, we're still doing this. Podcember, 31 days of podcasting. We are now at the Christmas day of Podcember, which is the 25th, which is Christmas. Wow. This is the Christmas episode.
I'm so excited.
This is the Christmas episode. Yes.
It's so festive.
It is so time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to the truth. Are you afraid to even say Christmas anymore? Tell us about it, Carolyn.
Well, I feel like sometimes I have to stop myself. Because normally it would just have come out, be like, oh, Merry Christmas. But now I'm like, wait. Or even if I'm typing on an email, I'm like, have a happy holiday. But I don't really write Merry Christmas, especially when in writing in an email. Because I guess maybe that's more business-like, so you really don't want to offend somebody or exclude somebody.
Well, here's the thing I have a problem with saying holiday, right? Mm-hmm. Saying happy holidays. It's sort of a yearly thing, isn't it? If you say happy holidays, at least in my perspective, because let me ask you a question. How many holidays are there?
Are you talking about like with other religions?
I'm talking about just in general.
Jewish?
I'm just in general.
I mean, they usually say that this is called the holiday season.
That's true. It is true.
Because it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas. There's a lot of other holidays that are involved in there. Like Eid is for Muslims and like I guess Hanukkah. But then there's also even I guess in October, if you want to start the holiday season in October, there's Yom Kippur, which is like in Jewish religion, that's like their Christmas. That's their big holiday. It's not Hanukkah.
And see, those are all great points. And even specifically, we've come to the point where every single day is some sort of special day.
Oh yeah, like today is probably like don't wear socks day.
Yeah, or
no socks
or
day.
Christmas day.
What if you look it up on the calendar?
Jesus' birthday.
You look it up on the calendar, it's like Christmas Day, and then like underneath it has other holidays, like syrup on your mouth day.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing, I'm all for
it's like some random day.
I'm all for like, oh, happy holidays. It's great, you know what I mean? But sometimes I like to be decisive, and not all people need to celebrate Christmas, but at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, Christmas is a day it's about a lot of things, but it's always about good things. So if I were to say like, hey, Merry Christmas, to somebody, maybe I'm just wishing them also a happy day. You know what I'm saying?
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Smiley face.
But specifically on this time. So it's always strange how like I also feel like partially the happy holidays part is just a way of making it easier and lazier.
It's a way of including everyone.
Well, including everyone, but also if you're marketing stuff, it's just like, cool, now we just have to say happy holidays. We're just making it simple.
Because even like I was listening to WPFW and they've been playing a lot of holiday music and it's a station in the Washington D.C. area called Jazz and Justice Radio. And they have like a lot of community public affairs programming and stuff like that. But then they also play like really cool jazz and blues. And like, let's be honest, straight up, it's basically like Black Station for the most part. I mean, yeah, they play everybody. It's not like segregated or something like that.
They created the jazz and blues.
I mean, they did. And like, so, but it's funny because like some of their hosts recently, like they stopped themselves. I don't know if they were told to do this or not, or if it's just like, again, the effect of everybody not being able to say Merry Christmas. But they have actually, I've heard twice that they've been like, Merry Christmas. Oh, yeah, not Christ, not Christmas, not Christ.
That's what it is.
But they literally were like, not Christ, and then they're like, I mean, happy holidays, and I'm like, whoa, that's like, were they told by the station to like not say that? Like, it's just strange, like, and it makes me think it's like people are like censoring themselves, or it like comes out first, and then they're like, oh, I mean, happy holidays. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's even I know I'm not Jewish, so, or maybe I am part Jewish and I don't know about it, and I need to take that test where I swab my mouth.
Or sure, why not? Anyone can be Jewish.
I mean, I'm like, honestly, like, I have no effect to know this. I have no scientific proof, but I'm probably at least 1% Jewish. You know what I mean? Like, at least. So Who knows? I might.
Well,
I might be more.
least,
I might be less. I have no idea.
I mean, I could be related to Jesus.
We all are.
could, yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is like I'm not the authority on Jewish traditions necessarily, but I just know that like if I was Jewish, and even if I'm 1% Jewish, which somebody is going to be like, that's not real. I would not be offended if somebody said Merry Christmas. I feel like it's just a feeling of like, hey, like you said, have a good day, have a good holiday, you know. But I guess that's why like the happy holidays encompasses everything. Like it's not offensive.
Yeah, it's just sort of easier that way.
Excuse me, I'm offended that you said holiday.
I wonder if
I don't celebrate anything.
I bet
I'm atheist.
It does seem like, I remember it was a time like in the 90s or whatever, because it does feel like there's a certain yearly span where people were sort of like, well, I don't really celebrate Christmas, you know, it's not my religion. So there must have been a time, you know, where they had to make that change.
I mean, it's been building.
And like, if you can speak the truth about it too, people have we've been revealing so much truth about everything that like it sort of removes our holidays. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like maybe not the worst offender, but I don't know. Like I just know like for me, I still have to work like a lot of those secondary or tertiary holidays, like Martin Luther King Day, I'm at work. So for me, it's like not a big deal. Like Columbus Day, I'm at work. It's not that big a deal, you know? And so like, but I do know a lot of people have been protesting Columbus Day in particular, which fits within the holiday schedule because that's in October. Like I feel like October, November, and December is the build. And I feel like, you know, Columbus Day, we don't want to go off on it, but there has been a big push to like
get rid of Columbus Day?
Show how Columbus Day is like, or Christopher Columbus isn't as great as everyone makes him out to be. Yeah,
but if you think about like the times, like if you think about how like the political landscape of all those eras, how great can a person actually be?
I mean, he basically made a mistake. He wasn't even, from what I hear, he wasn't even going the right way that he wanted to go, and then he like stumbled upon the Americas.
Should we be celebrating more of Lewis and Clark instead of Columbus? You know what I mean?
Go west, young man.
Yeah, it's like how do we measure that?
Western expansion. I have no idea, but people are saying that day should be the Indigenous Americans Day or Native Americans Day.
How would you break that down? Why would it be just that day though?
I guess because they...
Is it like a Memorial Day for them?
Well, they were more sharing about like, oh, this is our land, here's the corn, we'll show you how to make stuff, like that. And then like Columbus is just like, oh, I'll take it all, thank you.
And then what about even with Christmas? They say it's not they, you know, as the truthers, the truth people, the truth day. They say, you know, Christmas wasn't even born in Christmas on the 25th.
Oh, Jesus! Yeah, Jesus was born in the summertime.
Yeah, he wasn't even done that. So, you know, how are we supposed to say all this?
Or maybe I don't know. Like in his equivalent of the world, like in the Middle East, is it winter there?
When is it ever winter?
I don't know. There? Like, does it snow There's not snow in Africa.
Maybe that's even a mistake. They're like, well, it wasn't cold then, so it was probably during the winter. Like someone like I can see someone. And they're like, you know, in their dark rimmed glasses, like, well, you know what's really the truth? Well, you know, actually, what really happened was, you know, the like all
everyone that just seriously needs to suspend their belief on like everything now. At this point, it's like, okay, we have these traditions, and some of them are fun and cool, and some of them are a little ridiculous or whatever. But at this point, it's like, just pick what you like from it and celebrate those traditions.
Well, to me, what's really important is that people have something to celebrate that's hopeful, you know? I think that's like the most important part. Like I feel like even though like, you know, like I don't celebrate this, and I'm not even gonna like begin to say I know exactly what the Jewish religion, how they do. Like, do
Hanukkah?
Do you know how they celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, I know like the basics is like, how many days of it? They light the menorah.
Is it 12?
Like 12 maybe? But there's 12 days of Christmas.
Is there 12 days of Christmas? What is that about?
Like
12 days of Christmas?
It's like that song, or it's like the 12 days of Christmas my true love gave to me.
Is that song just sort of trying to capitalize on the Hanukkah days?
I don't know if Hanukkah is 12, but I don't remember. I don't know. But it's It's a festival of lights. That's what it is. And I know
That's
that.
what Hanukkah is?
Yeah, and I know that Adam Sandler song, and they have to light the candle each day. And
Joe Sutliff says there's
present.
8 days of Hanukkah.
That's what I thought, Joe. Good
Thank
on
you, Joe.
Thank you. 'Cause I did think that there was less than 12. Thank you for that. And
So
Joe knows a lot about it.
Is that Christmas trying to get more days than
I
Hanukkah
think
by
so.
getting 12?
Yeah, because I think Christmas is sneaking into Halloween territory now, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
How so?
Because it's like people start to shop for Christmas super early now. Like, seriously, it's like down with the ghosts, in with the Santas, in all the stores. But you know what I think part of it is, too? I think that we're living in a society where families are getting bigger and bigger now because we're having all these, like, step sister, step brother, step father, stepmother, like we're getting into these larger families. So what's happening now is maybe people are actually celebrating Christmas even on Thanksgiving.
So Joe says on the Facebook Live, I'm just joining this up because you said 8 days of Hanukkah. Then after your next comment was a minor holiday that grew in size because of the proximity to Christmas.
I agree with that, Joe. Because
what does that mean?
Because I've heard that Yom Kippur
it grew in size just to
like
compete,
their Christmas
to compete.
I think so because it's nearby the December time.
So it's like it was the Kmart to the Walmart, and the Kmart had to get bigger because Walmart was
No, I wouldn't, because Kmart and Walmart were like the same. It's just like Kmart came first, and then Walmart took over. I don't think it was like that.
So Hanukkah wasn't as big until they placed Christmas there.
Yes, I believe that's true.
But it's only one day.
What?
Christmas was only one day.
Yeah, but there's so much build to it.
I wonder how they built that.
And there's like that countdown, the 12 days of Christmas.
Well, I don't even know who did I wonder if that was just like a commercial at first.
It probably was. It probably was, for all I know. And it's all of it is commercialized too. I mean, and then Hanukkah has like the dreidel. And every year I've been trying to make the potato latke. I'm probably pronouncing it right. Latkes. Joe would probably know.
But what is with Hanukkah though? Like, but you get presents every single day on Hanukkah, right?
I think you get one present a day. But who knows if that was like a Christmas competition thing.
That's just all competing with each other.
They're like, that's how all the Jewish kids get by. They're like, I get one every day. So, like they, like they think it's better. I remember like, people in like the playground being like, oh yeah, well, Christmas sucks. I get a present every day. I'm Jewish.
But then what if the Christmas kid is just like, well, I get 12 presents in one day. Except I have to wait, and then I have a Santa Claus that brings me the one that I really want. So that means he's better than my parents.
Oh, the fraud, not fraud. I guess the fraud and the what's it called? I can't think of the right name.
What you said, the frog?
No, the feud, Family Feud. The feud is on between Christmas and Hanukkah.
Well, it's weird because like okay, I mean, I'm going to act ignorant towards this, but in Hanukkah, what are we celebrating?
It's the Festival of Lights.
Oh, it's just the Festival of Lights.
Yeah, whatever that is.
So
that sounds so horrible.
So I mean, I don't know. It's not.
I don't know either.
It's not my religion, and
they probably have a significant meaning for the lights. It must mean something.
It must mean something. But Christmas has lights too, right? Is that them being like, well, we have more lights?
Yep, everybody has lights. We have trees. Yeah, I mean...
it's Joe chimes in, a miracle of oil.
Oh, okay, a miracle of oil. Okay. So, I mean, it does seem like...
And thus, then America tries to capitalize on it and then sell and then make it.
Yeah. I did notice a lot at malls growing up. They didn't really have any Hanukkah stuff, but now they have, like, a menorah and, like, a little... like, a bigger dreidel type thing. Like, a little decorations of... or surrounding the Christmas area. Sometimes they have that. You know what they need to make? They need to make like a Christmas tree with like menorahs, like a roped around it, well, like a garland.
I guess in that sense, it's really dependent on who's decorating the Christmas tree. You could just
merge it all together. That's what's going to happen. Like eventually, I mean, yeah, they're going to have their own distinct holidays, but that's what's happening now. It's just happy holidays. That's the way to blanket it all.
So Joe on Facebook chimed in again. Okay, let's bring it down. She says, a miracle of oil. Oil in the temple for the sacred lamp lasted 8 days when there was only enough for one. And now people just eat fried food this day. So oil in the temple for the sacred lamp lasted 8 days when there was only enough for one.
Okay, so it's like a miracle of oil.
Then people started getting tired of potatoes.
But I like those potato lattes.
So now,
not lattes.
So now jelly
Potato
donuts.
lattes.
Now jelly donuts are catching on. Wow,
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Look at that! It's fried food and frying of the donuts. The donuts are happening.
And isn't there that soup that I make? God, I can't even think of it. It's like those balls.
Matzo ball.
Matzo ball
Matzo
soup. Yeah, I make that sometimes.
So it's really like this thing that's gathered around food, which is like such an amazing thing. So.
I like Joe chiming in on this.
That's
Joe, why don't you just come on over and record with us?
That's the new marketing campaign for KFC next year. It's the celebration of the miracle of oil.
That's awesome.
The oil lasted, and oil did last a long time, forever, when they even crossed over. People were using that for fire.
I think it's interesting now that the jelly donut is coming into play. Now that's like a whole other thing.
That's the truth.
You know what is crazy though? You think about these things about. Like, okay, obviously Halloween is like the candy holiday. So all the like M&Ms and Mars and all these corporations are like, yes, we're going to rule that day. And like everyone has to buy a bag of candy. You know, anyone that has a house that kids go door to door, it's like you have to buy at least one bag of candy. So like think of like that's guaranteed money in their pocket, right?
See, there seems to be a trend here, right?
Yeah.
Consumerism is strong in the holiday time.
But then think about it this way too. With Christmas, like everyone needs a stocking, so like that's all covered. It's like you can own a certain.
You gotta celebrate.
But then like the tree, it's like okay, so like everyone needs a tree, and it's like I'm just saying that if you owned a certain segment of business, you got to gravitate yourself towards those holidays. Like for example, the jelly donut now is coming into prominence. And I don't know.
Coming into prominence.
And Joe, tell me how that happened because I know that they got tired of the
people
potatoes.
People got tired of potatoes.
But how did the jelly donut rise up?
It's sweeter.
I guess like all those donut companies, it's like, man, let's like Krispy Kreme or whoever. I don't know who's behind it. Like who's behind that? You know, so it's like that's awesome that they made that work for their business. I mean, how many times are you going to eat potatoes? I guess it's kind of an old-fashioned thing. I think of like The Potato Eaters by Vincent van Gogh's painting.
See, this always now reminds me back to, I always quote this. I don't even know if I quote this every year, but I have several favorite episodes that remind me of Christmas time. I think because there was a time where I was recording a lot of things on television during the holiday times, like during the weekend. I think this tradition that like I stopped doing is what got me into the holiday spirit beforehand. Was I used to record so many TV shows. This was before I was even wanting to be a filmmaker, and then later on it just made sense. I would record so many TV shows the weeks leading into Christmas because there was Christmas episode time. One of them was Sliders, in which people know the premise of Sliders, that they would journey from world to world, and they would each world's a different episode. And one of them was a shopping world. Actually, one of them was a Christmas world. It was a Christmas world, and then it was a Christmas world 24/7. So if you can imagine, people love those Christmas stores, and they're like, I wish this Christmas store was open all year long. So imagine if it was, and the whole world was that. And they uncovered like the big scam of what Christmas was, and how they had like it was like controlled by the society where if you don't shop until you drop, like you get stuck like in poverty, and then you had to like work for stores. Like it became, that's what the cycle was.
Mm-hmm.
And
retail.
It was retail. It's like, oh, they love shopping, but you have to spend a minimum amount of money like every single day, or else you go into debt. And then they introduce credit cards, so you do credit, so you're paying for debt. It's like that big cycle. And this is all happening in Christmas land. That was happening on a cloud world. And like I saw that, and I was like, oh, so that's like they even knew that's what Christmas was all about. So I felt like watching episodes like that got me into the mood for Christmas. And the most crucial one for me, another symbolism of Christmas, was the X-Files episode where they got stuck. I think Mulder told Scully that like there's every year like an old couple show up at this haunted house, or show up at this house and haunt the house, and he wanted
like
to find
old ghosts.
Yeah, like an old couple ghost.
Okay.
Like a couple, and he was like, "Yeah, let's. I need to find the truth of this." And then and Scully's like, "Does it have to be Christmas Eve?" And then he's like, "They only come out on Christmas Eve. We need to find the truth." and they literally go into the house, and they have like, they get separated, and then they find like the truth of each other. And then like Waldorf finds out it's like it's just all about spending and being lonely and like all this stuff. And then the ghosts like chime in saying like that's what's wrong with these kids. They don't know what the true spirit of Christmas is. It's about spending the Christmas Eve, or it's about
spending time with your family.
Time with your family and remembering what was. Look at us, we're dead, but we're still here doing it. There's one point where, they were supposed to be like in the same room, and they're like the I don't know what it is, like the movie Cube, where you get separated but you still think you're in the same room. I don't know what it is.
I've never seen that film.
But like that episode of the X-Files was like one of my favorites because I don't know, there's something very haunted, but there's also something very sweet about it. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of loneliness, and they decided not to give each other presents and stuff like that. And of course, at the very end, they give each other presents. But it was cool because it's like it was romantic because these two ghosts, who I guess they died in that house, and so every single year on that Christmas Eve, they occupy the house, and they haunt whoever's in the house at that time, which is a pretty awesome house. So yeah, so when I was younger, I spent a lot of time like recording, like the day of. I would also record shows that were on TV because they play all these Christmas episodes. I remember watching like ER Christmas and like Roseanne Christmas. Yeah, I don't really do that as much anymore. TV's a little bit different. I mean, I don't watch it as much live. But
so I live in an on-demand world now.
Yeah, it's sort of on demand. The last great Christmas episode I felt like I watched was probably like on Smallville, the Lexmas, a very Lexmas Christmas, mm-hmm. where Lex Luthor he gets shot. he gets shot, and while he's dreaming or while he's in a coma, he like has visions of like what a better life would be, which in a sense is also, I guess it's still pulled from the Christmas story or the Christmas Carol.
And also he's a character of people envision like he's rich, he's someone who has everything, but then he's really missing stuff.
Yeah. So almost in a way, like the best Christmas episodes almost, reflect like a better person that you can be. Mm-hmm. I think that's really, at the end of the day, those are what makes the episodes better.
Have you already thought about your New Year's resolutions or any type of like 2018 progression?
No, not at all.
Because I have a little bit. I have a little bit because, like, for example, I did just cut my hair the other day.
Snip cut.
Because I had been growing it out rather long and not doing anything with it, just because like it takes a long time, and I'm just putting it up and not doing anything with it. But I did have intention of growing it out with the purpose of donating it to some organization that collects the hair. Yeah, I think you have to have a minimum of 10 inches.
Yeah.
And they collect the hair and they make wigs, usually for children that have cancer. So I'm like, that's a good thing to do. It like my hair reaches a point where it's like, okay, well, I should donate it at this point, or like, keep growing it out for a little bit because it's already at that point where I can donate it. So I think I measured it and I got to like 13 inches, which is pretty good. And I'm like, this thing needs to go.
And that hair goes to what?
It goes to childhood cancer wigs.
Yeah, see, that's a good deal right there.
Yeah.
Those things are really crucial. I mean, that's what the holidays in a way, like, it evokes that emotion.
Well, it's funny because when I went in to get it done, I had, there's a special way to clip it with the rubber band or some type of ponytail holder at top.
Yeah.
And so there's a special way that they want the hair donated. So I guess it doesn't get all loose and discombobulated or whatever. They want it to be fresh. And I told my stylist, I'm sure she's done it before, like how to do it, and she's like, yeah, 10 inches. And she's like measuring it and stuff. She's like, yeah, you're good to donate. And so she like snips it off. And it's funny because like right before she was doing it though, she was like, are you sure? You sure? I mean, she's Asian, so she had like.
You sure? You sure you want cut? Boy don't like short hair.
They've told me that before because I have donated before. This time I'm donating to a different organization just because I want to mix it up, not because of like any political stance or anything like that. I just want to.
Boy don't like short hair though.
I have been told that like they're like, "Are you sure you want to cut your hair? Like, you know that men don't like women with short hair," which
But that's
I
not
think
true.
is a lie.
That's not true at all.
I mean, you know what? To their benefit though, there have been studies where a large percentage of men do prefer the long hair.
Which is funny because like the Asian women who say that, they're also majority of the time older Asian women, and they have short hair.
Sometimes, yeah, or at least like shoulder length and up.
Like I remember, like a lot of times in my experience, I see the younger Asian women have longer hair, but then the older ones have the short. They're
Yeah.
short.
I think it's not just an Asian thing. I think that's an age thing because you don't really see many older women with long hair. I mean you see them occasionally.
Long hair in general is like really annoying anyway. Where it's like it's more work.
It is a lot of upkeep because I was getting to the point where like it was just becoming damaged and you know, like, I didn't want it to get too far crazy, and you have to take special care of it and, like, always be conditioning and brushing, and it's just too much work at this point, and I admire the people that can do it and keep their hair nice and fresh, but it's too much. And so, but you know what she said to me this time?
What's
instead
that?
of, like,
What's
instead
that?
of boy don't like hair.
Men don't like hair. No, it's you.
Yeah, men don't like short hair. She was just like, "Are you sure you want me to cut it?" Because I came in and I was like, "Hey, I'm donating my hair." You know, I told her straight up, and then I even showed her, like, here's a picture of what I want to get.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm pretty definite. I'm like, this is what I want to get. Here's 2 reference photos. Print it out on a piece of paper. You can definitely see it. Here, you know, here's the rubber band. Here's my hair. I'm ready to do this thing, you know? And she's like, "You sure? You sure?" She was like getting triple confirmation.
Yeah.
And like, I guess it's good for her to do that.
That's a big step for females to cut all their hair, though, right?
Because she was like, "You sure?" And then I was like, "Yes." And then she's like, "You know, I'm gonna ask again because you know, girls cry when I do this." Like she actually said, like this time she didn't bring up the like men don't like it, you know, but she was just like, "Girls cry." She's like, "Are you sure you're not gonna cry?" Like she like triple asked, you know, and I was like, "I'm sure I'm not gonna cry." Like I was like, definitely, like I even said like, "I am not gonna cry." Because I knew going into it what I wanted, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she did confirm it, even though it was a bit annoying and it makes for a good story. But at the same time, like, I feel like maybe she has to just because she's been through a bad experience of people just, like, in misery when the hair gets cut.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's mostly, like, a client thing, I guess, for her to ask. And then she even, like, didn't want to make it super short, too, because she's like, "You still want to be a woman." You know, like I guess she didn't.
I guess when you have short hair, you're not a woman.
Well, she did kind of make that comment at the end. You know, she's like, "You want shorter?" Because she's like, you know, it looks good because you're still a woman. You know, I was like, all right, you know, she did a good job. I'm happy with it. But again, I go to hair cuttery. I don't like go to any fancy salon, and my habit now is like just growing it out really long so I can donate it and then cutting it. And with no haircuts in between. I know you're actually supposed to get haircuts in between because you're supposed to, like, upkeep your hair and keep it fresh.
You're still a woman, though.
But I'm still a woman. Yeah. It was fun. It was a good experience. But, yeah, that's that haircut. It's all gone. But, yeah, I'm trying to, like, shape up for 2018 and, you know, new year, new me. Getting ready.
I would like to say if people are listening to this after this show, I do have a list of my favorite Christmas episodes that you should watch. These
you
are
can
not
put them on the show notes.
Sure. But I'll list them out real fast because it's easy. Yeah, so Lexmas Christmas on Smallville. I'd like you to watch that. I'd like you to watch Holiday Nights on the Batman animated series. Let's see. And just top it off with one of my favorites of all time, the Pinky and the Brain Christmas special. The very first episode they ever had where Brain almost takes over the world.
Can I add one in for you?
Sure.
Because I know we've mentioned this before. The My So-Called Life one.
Yes.
With the phone.
Absolutely. The My So-Called Life Christmas episode is freaking as perfect as it gets. It pretty much encompasses still my idea of Christmas. That emotion it's all in there. So yeah, those ones. How much is that? Was that 4?
I think that was 4.
4? Should I add in?
But plus you had the X-Files one.
Oh yeah, and the X-Files one. Yeah, so that Christmas X-Files episode where they get stuck in the house. So definitely go in there and you'll get a good watch those, and you'll get a good idea of the holiday spirit in my head.
What about the Martian Manhunter?
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. The Justice League Unlimited one. That was nice. That was nice as well.
I like that one. That's my pick.
Yeah, those are good ways to go.
And I also like A Christmas Story, the movie, which I got through watching the musical for like halfway. And
Was it good?
I had to go to sleep because it was like almost 2 a.m.
Okay.
I was taping it backlogged, but like, man, there's some moments in that where it's kind of rough. I know it didn't go.
What do you mean rough?
The highest ratings.
It was live though, right?
Yes.
So it was rough, as in the production was rough.
No, it was just like. First of all, the opening number was too modern for me. Like,
Okay.
I know that sounds silly, but I guess rough in terms of like...
Oh, so they were singing in this one.
Oh, the whole thing was singing.
Oh, okay. So that's
musical.
I can't really imagine the Christmas Story was singing unless
For
they already do
example,
that.
one thing that kind of like was like, whoa, that's really cool was they had the leg lamp and they had like a whole chorus line of leg lamp girls. And
Okay.
the father was like singing about his major award and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that went very like be our guest.
Okay.
Like, you know, so I was like, okay, this is funny. There's some moments where it got really big and funny like that, and I did think the casting was really, really good. But it's just like, I don't know if that should be a musical.
I didn't even
I
think,
just don't know if Gene Shepard's work. I mean, I'm glad that it can extend to other mediums, I guess, but like, it's just like I prefer the original movie.
For some reason in my head, I didn't think it was gonna be a musical. I don't know why. I can't really
But aren't
envision
all
this being a
those
musical.
live ones,
Yeah, I
like
guess
Grease
I
I didn't watch The Sound of Music. I know they did. With,
I mean, that makes but those were already like musicals.
That's
you know what I mean?
true.
It's not like the Christmas Story wasn't a musical to start with.
didn't they do Hairspray live, or am I making
Probably,
that up?
but that's already a musical too. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know what they'd be singing about.
But you know, they did do a Broadway Christmas Story, so I don't know if that was a musical.
Maybe that's what. Maybe that was. I didn't know about that. So maybe that's
Yeah,
those detached.
I think that's what part of it is. And Maya Rudolph was a good mom. You know, there's some good moments, but there's definitely like a few times where I was like, "What? This is." You can tell they're trying to be, and I'm not okay. Even with casting, like Flick, his friend that sticks. I didn't even get to the part where he sticks his tongue on the pole.
Oh yeah.
Yet, but I know it's gonna happen, I guess. But like Flick is like black, and they have all these like Asians and black people, you know, there, and it's just kind of like. And I'm not saying they can't be there, but it, you know, you can. Same thing with like Beauty and the Beast. Remember how that diverse that cast is?
Yeah.
And it like I guess it's a good thing that they're there, but it does kind of like. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there at all, but like it does kind of like shock because you're like, well, this is supposed to be set in like. What, the 50s in like Indianapolis or something?
I think so.
Like Indiana somewhere, right? So it's like I just don't think that those people existed in the 50s. But, you know, I'm glad that they're like represented on TV. It's like somebody took a cautious effort to make sure that it was very multicultural.
Okay.
But
I mean, I guess you got to. Everyone has to get a job.
It is. It's 2018. Let everybody in, you know? So that's how I feel about that. But it was kind of like one of those things where it was like, oh, I guess it's like a 2018 version of A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want it to be like all white everything. They
might as well have just made it a 2018 Christmas Story.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I actually think that that's a good. But then the part of the story is that whole throwback, though. It's like the dad is fighting the furnace.
But it would be nice to see what would be the contemporary, like a dad that's fighting like the internet connection or something like that.
I don't know, maybe, or like, because also he wins the leg lamp through like a crossword puzzle, like newspaper.
You can modernize those things.
See, I feel like maybe if they modernize it, but then the flip side of that is somebody might backlash because it's too modern.
You'll backlash no matter what. No matter what, there'll be a backlash. Someone will backlash.
Just like from the very beginning, though, I was like, this is not what I was expecting, but then I got into it, but then there's certain moments where I was like in and out.
Sometimes musicals are a little jarring like that.
Yeah. But in general, like, I don't know if I'm going to check out the rest, you know, but
You're not even gonna
I
finish
might. It's more of like a time thing because I know how the story's going to go, but I'll probably finish it eventually. But I thought it was good for what it was, but then at the same time, I'm like, I did enjoy Grease more.
Yeah.
So far, but yeah.
Yeah, and that Ellie McLemore is awesome in Grease. Just shooting that out there.
I will just say though, but the original Christmas Story movie is really amazing.
I also want to take this moment to give a little bit of a history lesson, not even a history lesson, but an awesome perspective on, since it is the Christmas episode. It's nice to think about what exactly is the Christmas, what is the Christmas spirit, so to speak, and where does that come from. But I like looking at like the nativity story as, I mean, we just had the new Star Wars come out, and they have a rebellion, and they have, it's the beginning of that. I like thinking of the birth of Jesus is like the beginning of a rebellion story. If you know think about that, because you have this couple who's they're on the run. That alone is pretty badass to me. It's like these people are on the run trying to save their firstborn, because I'm assuming firstborns are being killed. And so it's like these hostiles are on the run, and all of a sudden, like, they're the what was it, Mary? No,
Mary and Joseph?
No, yeah, Mary. Mary is she's having a baby, and she needs to find a place to make that happen, and it's coming soon. And they go to a not a brothel,
What?
a major. What they go to?
Like a barn?
Yeah, they go to but there was like a hotel or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it was a hotel.
Yeah, well, they find, I guess, like
but then
a farm.
they had a barn outside.
I guess it was a farm. They tried to find a place like that, and the people there would not let them inside, and so they're like, you can go out in the barn where the lower class citizens will
where
do
the
it.
donkeys are.
Yeah, where all of them, and then they have their baby there, and then they're without medicine, under the moonlight. Under the North Star, and then they're visited by 3 kings who present them gifts, and
no electricity.
No electricity.
Ooh.
But like I look at that in a way as sort of like that's a powerful moment in itself. Like it's like imagine imagine what they had to do, what they had to endure just to get out there and like get Jesus born. You know what I mean? Jesus born. And also, like, think about Joseph. It's not even like it's not really his kid.
But then what's he doing hanging around there?
Because it's his wife.
Oh. They were married.
I assume there are a couple that are married. I mean, people give us more detail on that, but there are a couple.
But it was immaculate conception.
Yeah.
So if they were married,
I think maybe I heard the story that they couldn't have a kid, but then that happened.
Oh, okay.
So there's that, and they want to have a kid. So that's the miracle
baby.
That's the miracle, yeah. And so I think that alone, no matter what religion, it's a pretty compelling story too. I know they made movies about it and stuff like that. It'd be nice if Mel Gibson made a movie about it.
He should.
Nativity. Or even Ridley Scott did one.
Dude, I would love it if Mel Gibson made the Nativity. Seriously. But
just like I always felt like when you take a step back and take almost the religion part of it, it's sort of a badass rebellious story. You know what I mean?
It's pretty amazing.
The escape through the night, and they had to get the baby born.
I would love to watch that. So
yeah, just remember that on Christmas while you don't even have to think about, you don't even have to remember it. Just know that it's also a pretty awesome story. That's because that's why we're here. That's why the celebration is happening during this time, because of that. And then then Easter, where we just, the human beings just destroy the greatness of that.
But there's bunnies and eggs and chicks,
which was fabricated again.
Hot chicks. Hot chicks celebrating Easter.
Just fabricated, all that stuff. So yeah, Christmas. That's why we're here. This is the Christmas episode of the Carolyn and Joe Show.
Everyone enjoy your time with your family and friends, and we will see you tomorrow.
That's right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this show is brought to you by Astray Productions. Check them out at astrayproductions.com. Check out my work, Joe Carabeo, at joecarabeo.com, goastray.tumblr.com. Find me on the socials at astrayj, at joecarabeo _ no, there's no .com. At joecarabeo _ photography. Don't forget to download this song by Monday Mistress called Run. What do you got, Carolyn?
Merry Christmas, everyone. You can visit my website at www.carolynbelefski.com. We have lots of fun stuff, designs, comics, illustrations. My portfolio's up there. I even have a store if you want to buy some fun comics and fun prints and fun stuff, like enamel pins featuring Toast of the Town. That's pretty awesome. I'm also on the socials. Check me out at Carolyn Belefski. It's just my name. And Carolyn and Joe Show is also on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you want to listen to the audio. You can go to www.carolynandjoeshow.com and check out all the episodes. We're in like the 400s now, right?
We are.
Wow.
We're 428, I think.
Yeah, we're up there. So you guys can check out all the backlog of episodes if any topics you find interesting. Plus we have a lot of interviews and panels from comic conventions. So there's a lot of cool stuff to go through and check out.
And of course, did you already say the website?
Yes, I did.
What else did you say? Did you say everything else?
Yep.
Huh.
I said it all.
We don't have, maybe, I guess that's it. I guess this Christmas episode is coming to a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joe.
And I'm Carolyn.
We're going to see you tomorrow, but we wouldn't be doing it right if we didn't say Merry Christmas, everyone.
Every one of us.
Every one of us. Every one of us. My name is Joe.
And I'm Carolyn.
Be excellent to each other.
You're bona fide.
See you tomorrow.